And start over again. Okay, so what I like to do, and there's different ways of starting up the Visual Studio, but I like to double click the solution file. Is the lighting okay? Do you want to adjust the lighting to optimize, or is it okay? Is this okay? Can someone adjust the lighting to make it, more easier for people to look at the screen? Is that good? Okay. So here it is. There's P11, P12. That's done. So let's go ahead and create another project and do the problem here. So let's go ahead and add a new project. And this is going to be. It's not a console application. It's this project. This problem requires a graphics window. So you need to create a Win32 project. I'm going to call it P221, 23, 25. And I'm going to make it empty. See, it's leave this at a Windows application. You can leave these in here. I like to take them out. I'm going to remove those. Here's an important setting. I'm going to right-click on the project, hit Properties, and under this Configuration Properties General panel, go down to this common, no, not that one. Character, no, not, is it this one? Yeah, that one. The character set. So the way the author wrote the code, it's not going to support this Unicode. But somehow I can't see. I don't get access to that. Let's see if you know what? That's not going to work. There we go. So not set. And let's hit OK on that. And then we need to get the files. So let's go ahead and get the files, the author's files. Uh-oh, need a web connection here. Remember, we need to go to the textbook author's website. And then, where is it? Source code. And I'm going to grab these files here, 4 files, and I'm going to copy these. And I'm not going to paste it here because I think it pastes in a what do you call it? A reference or a shortcut. Actually, but that'll work. I think the shortcut will work. In fact, let's go ahead and do that and just test it. So we don't actually need a copy. So let's try to actually, I don't want you to paste in a shortcut because I want the files to go into the repository, so it's easier for us to work with them. So I'm going to come back to here. This is the project folder. I'm going to paste them in there. I pasted those in the project folder. Come back to Visual Studio. Let's add those. So let's add existing item. Let's grab these. And now let's create a new item. Notice I'm right clicking on the project and then I do add and then new item. And let's call this it's a CPP file. Let's call it main. It's code, CPP file main. And let's get our hello program from the website. Here it is. Where is that? It's not in the lectures, it's down here. Hello graphics program. Let's run that. There's some red marks there. That's a compilation error. Cannot open the source file. Oh, this is the wrong one. That's for Linux. Ah. Oh, so this is for Linux. I better make a note. So this is the Linux version. And we're going to need a Windows version. Yeah, this should be CCC. Is it MSW? So this is CCC MSW. Now that's still, there's an underline there. Oh, it went away. So that's something called, they call it continuous compilation, or it's a continuous build. Actually, Visual Studio doesn't wait for you to click, build. It will try to build the code, compile it. And there's an error, it'll underline the areas where it thinks is a problem. Yeah.
Now, since I'm using Xcode for Mac, with the one you grabbed would be the same as Linux?
Yeah. I'll make a note of that on the web. So that's Linux or OS 10. Something wrong with this, my web server here. I'll fix it right here. Linux / OS 10 version. Let's see if that, there we go. And you can see the asterisk here. It hasn't been saved yet. Let's save that. Let's build it. You can build a solution or just build a project. There's some warnings here. You'll need to ignore those. You'll see here that the build succeeded, even with those warnings. So these warnings are related to the author's code, and it's hard to remove those warnings. I haven't spent time on doing that. So let's run it and see what happens. Go to debug, start debugging. That's not right, is it? Anybody know what I did wrong? I ran the wrong one. I had this highlighted. Let's debug, start new instance. There's the dot, there's the point. Also, just for convenience, because I like to press F5 to run, so I'm going to set this as the startup project. Now, even if that's highlighted, when I hit F5, it'll run that program. So there's the dot. Are there any questions about this little piece of code here? About what's going on? How to understand this? It's hard to read, right? It's not English. Yeah.
If we were doing this on Linux, we would still have to load all those CCC underscore, all of those would have to go in, just like that.
Yes, just like that. In Linux, right? And once again, we did this in the last lecture, and if you want to review that, it's online here. So I'm going to show you that. Here is the under notes, under lectures. This is lecture 4, writing a graphics program in Linux. Okay, now, and we're also going to create this file. This file here. There it is. So you can review the lecture, and I'm recording right now, so you can review this one as well. But in fact, on Linux, you don't include msw.cpp and .h. You include the one that's ccc_x11. But these two files, the two shape files, those are the same on Linux or Windows or Mac. Okay, so the only difference is these. Also on Linux and Mac, you don't have to worry about that Unicode setting. But there's other things you have to be concerned with, right? I think I have the I have those in Lab 2. This business here. So you'll need, on Linux, you'll need something that looks like this. I mean, exactly that. That's what you need in the lab room to make it work. And this is probably a work on other Linux systems as well. Am I speaking loud enough? Okay, all right. So you'll need to refer back to this lab 2. So the entry point is no longer main. Now it's this thing called CCC win main. In fact, the real main is in here. Somewhere in here. Actually, this interface I'm not used to. This is the real main. This is on a Windows machine. This is the main for a windowed application. So the build system, the compiler, will look for this exact function and say, "Oh, this is where I'm going to pass execution into when the program starts." All right, let's come back to here. And so this line right here, right, this is an object, and this is an object. This object here is it's a point with two attributes, an x value and a y value. The x value is 0, the y value is 0. So this expression right here causes the creation of a point object. We'll talk more about this as we go along, but this name here, point, is a class. And when we use the class name and follow it by the parentheses with either 0 or more arguments, what we're doing is we're invoking what's called a constructor, which is a special type of function. And the purpose of a constructor is to construct an instance of a class, or to create an object. And so we have this point object. Let's create another point object. Let's just experiment with that. Let's create a point object at 1 minus 1. There it is. That's 1. See, this is 0, 0. This is the point at 0, 0. So we go over 1 and then down 1. So this is the point 1 minus 1. So actually what got created there is different. I'm going to show you an alternative way of doing this. So we can do point P1 0, 0. And point P2 1 minus 1. This is the alternative form. And so because here these created objects are actually anonymous. This causes the creation of an object, but it has no name. And we don't need it because we use it in this expression where we pass it to CUIN, and then we don't need it anymore. So it doesn't actually need to be named. It can remain anonymous. And that's an important word in programming languages. You have things like anonymous functions and so on. So things don't necessarily have to be named to be used. But here, in this other approach, when we create these points, we're giving them names. The first one is called P1, the second one is called P2, and then we can use those objects in expressions like this CWin output P1. We can use those objects in these expressions by using the names that we have of those objects. Let's see if that runs. There it is, same thing. You see how I'm tinkering and getting comfortable with the API, try a little this, try a little that. This is how you should approach your problem solving. You need to become familiar with what's going on. So you should try very small experiments and to build up your confidence and your understanding of how to do this, rather than trying to solve the problem. Right? So you will converge to a solution to the problem gradually. So now what we want to do, let's think about what we want to do next. Let's get, we're not going to solve the problem. Remember, this is called incremental development. So we don't just solve the end problem right away. We're going to solve it in a sequence of stages. So we're displaying points right now. Let's figure out how to ask the user to click on a point. Let's do this. Ask user to click on a point. Oh, ask user to click. So that's a comment. I'll have it start it with a double slash. You'll see it shows up as green. And this code, remember, this code runs on all those environments that we're working on. Okay, so it's the same code. It's portable. So how do we ask the user? I don't remember. I taught this class either 8 or 9 years ago. So I'm doing this from memory. So you got to help me because I can't remember that long. How do I ask the user to how do I display a string on the screen?
Use this message class.
Use the message class? Like that?
You can either name it and put like message string or like instructions. I call them message instructions.
Mm.
And then use coordinates.
So the coordinates come before the string?
Yeah. So you have to have the parentheses.
So let's say kind of like -5. Oh, do we pass in a point?
You can pass in a point, but you can also...
Oh, I could pass in a point and then a double. Oh, so we can display a double. We can just display a message in a default location, or we can... Oh, so we have alternatives there. See, we have 4 alternatives. This is a message with nothing in it. I'm not sure what that's good for. And here we pass in a point and a double, so there we can display a number. And here, I think this is going to print the message at some kind of like default location. That's the easiest one, isn't it? Just that one right there. And then let me guess here. So you do CWin a message, right? Okay. Hey, this is underlined. You have to do it? I thought I had 4 options there. Is it in the shape class? Is that where it is? The message is not in there. Maybe it's in here. What's that? Oh! I think string is... I think the string is already in there. Well, let's try it anyway. You're on Mac, so it could be different. The required header files can be different. See if that does it. No, that doesn't do it. So it doesn't like this. Let's see. Let's pass in a point now. Just make it the easy point, right? Is that going to build? Look, that doesn't make sense to me. I'm going to right click on this message. I'm going to do go to definition. These are the constructors. That one, that one, that one. See, there's no constructor that takes just a string by itself. I don't know why Visual Studio showed that to us. Well, there it is. It's not in a very good location, though. Let's put it in a better location. Say -5, 5. This is the X. This is the Y. So we want it up and to the left. It's getting better, right? Let me try 10 and 10. I think the screen is 10 by 10. Yeah, that's good. So that's it's not quite the best spot for it, but yeah, that's good enough, right? Just bring it down a little. And it's not exactly what we want to do, but click. We'll say click on screen. Click on screen to define the first vertex. There we go. Except there's an extra O in there. Okay. But so we're there. Now we have the message. And so let's get it. Let's get the user's mouse click. How do we do that?
It's right there.
Which page is that on?
It's right underneath the problem on page 96.
Page 96. Oh, so it's given right in the problem?
Yeah.
All right. How do we do that?
He initialized a point, so like point A or whatever equals C win underscore dot get mouse.
Get mouse like that, or get underscore mouse?
And if you want in parentheses, you can.
Oh, we didn't have to do this.
Which actually defaults in that corner that you put that in.
Is that right? All right, let's try that. And I'll make this. Let me make this -9. And this is the triangle drawing program. I'm gonna make it bigger here. I like to keep the code neat as I'm working, so it's easier to look at it. Oh, look at that, and it shows the point, right? But it didn't draw the point where I clicked, right? So let me try it again, just to demonstrate that. I don't see the other 2 points yet, right? So that means, look, I don't see the other 2 points. So that means this has not run. I'm sorry, this. This is where we display the 2 points. That means this point in the execution of the code has not occurred. Actually, what this is see this call, this function right there, get mouse? That's called a blocking call. So execution reaches get mouse, and this thing called execution disappears into get mouse. So we call into the function. The execution leaves the sequence of commands that we're currently executing in main, goes somewhere else, and is now executing other commands, but it has not yet returned. So, and because it's stuck there, apparently waiting on something. Well, it's waiting on user input, but it could be waiting on a TCP connection. It could be waiting on a web page. It could be waiting on, the disk drive to start up spinning. In all of those situations, we say that that's a blocking call. And usually when you have blocking calls like this, in many cases, you want to have other threads running, doing other work. Because you don't want to waste, time just waiting. You want to do other things if you can. So we click here. I'm going to click up there. I'm just going to move this. I'm going to click up here. The point there. Oh, but it still draws these two here. So what's the issue there? What do we need to do? Oh, you're not supposed to answer the question, huh? What's that?
You feed point A to see when.
Oh, you're not supposed to answer the question either. You're in front of everyone else. Who knew can tell me what to do here? Anybody does everyone understand where we're at and what the issue is? We're getting to point A. No, I want you to keep answering questions. I'm just kidding. I just want to try to pull the other people in. So we want to display the point at A, and we're displaying this other point that we created just as part of our test project process. So let's just do it like this. We get the A from getMouse, and let's go ahead and display the A. So I'm going to click up here, and there it is. That's how that works. So we'll need to do the same thing for point B. I'll do it wrong first, okay? So we're going to do it like this. So we're going to get point B. And let's have a message there. And then we'll display point B. Oh, we don't need this anymore, right? We're going to click on A. Oh, I don't see it anymore. You see the problem? I want to see it when I click it. Any suggestions? Huh? See, remember, first we blocked here to get A. And when we click on the mouse, execution returns from this getMouse call. And then we go and we do the next command, which is to call getMouse again, which is again blocking. So we're stuck here waiting on this call. And so we have not yet gotten to this point where we display those inputted points. So if I click again, oh, now they're displayed, see? So the sequence is not optimal. We'd like to show the point to the user when the user clicks that point. So it looks like that. Right? Let's try that. Maybe this will work better. 1, 2. Now it works nicely now. So we're building this thing incrementally, and hypothesizing, testing, reading the documentation, consulting with our classmates to get ideas. Right? You should work together to do this stuff. Right? So what do we do next here? What's the next step? Third point. What else? There's when you do these problems, actually it's not clear what the next step is. There's a lot of one thing we could do next is get the third point. What's the other thing that we could do next instead of getting the third point? Draw the line. Yeah. Which one do you want to go? Who wants to draw the line next? Who wants to do the third point next? It's 2 versus 1. Okay, that's not a very participatory vote. So the 2 win. And let's do the third point. And actually, that's not a bad choice because it's easy, right? 1, 2, 3. All right, we got that. Now let's draw the line. Actually, what we want to do is draw the line here, right? Or I mean, if that's what we want to do, maybe we don't need to do it like that. But I like it this way. So to make a line, we do this. And a line, we're going to put something in here. We're going to create a line like this. Is this the syntax the book uses? I think they have this. Well, let me show it to you this way. And then we're going to output it. Does that make sense? We're going to create a line and we're going to output the line. And we're going to create the line by using this sort of pattern here, where we have the name of a thing called a class or the data type. It's called a data type. And then we have the variable name. And then we have the arguments. It's the information needed to create the thing we want. So we can't just say create a line. We have to say create a line from point A to point B. Tell me what point A and B is. Don't just say to create a line. I'm not going to create a random line. I mean, the author could have created the library so that it would create random lines. I mean, that's possible, but that's not what's there, right? What's there is, if you want to create a line, you've got to tell me the endpoints. Now, how do you do that? You put the information in between these parentheses. And this is the form. You have to memorize this format. It's like a language. You say, I am Sam. That's the order. You don't say Sam I am. Anyone know that book? I'm reading that to my kids, as I remember. They say, why did they say Sam I am? That's not right. It's I am Sam. So there's we can't put we can't do it like this. We can't do it like this, right? So there's in this issue here, the form that the command takes is called syntax. Syntax. The compiler complains about syntax errors. So we got to get the syntax right. And the other thing to notice here is, look, this uppercase L, this is important. The language is case sensitive, so this has got to be uppercase L, lowercase I, N, and E. And we can call it we could call it X. It doesn't matter. But I think it's easy to read the code if we call it line. Well, maybe we've got to call it line 1. Or how about line A to B? Maybe that's better. And then we're going to pass in point A and point B. How come this is underlined? Oh, that should be line. I renamed it. Click, click. Oh, nice. There it is. That's it. Any questions? You got to finish it. That's easy, right? Draw 2 more lines. Is that it? That seems simple to me, but that's hard, right? Is this hard? Or is that simple? What's the hard? Is the hard part getting the environment set up, logging in, and building and compiling? That's the hard part. The easy part is once you get here, it's smooth sailing. So that's the thing. We're going to practice that process. Create a new project, build it, test it, compile it, debug it, try to understand what the compilation error says, and then move forward. Because we're not getting any errors, right? Maybe to be more helpful, we would do something like that. Look. Oh, 0 succeeded, 1 failed. Oh, there's a problem. Okay, that means we've got to read this stuff And these errors are very hard to read. Here's the error. Sometimes here's the error. Look at this. There's the file name, and this here is the line number. So the compiler is saying on line 16 there is a mistake. And this is what I think the mistake is. That name there, get v mouse, is not a member of graphic window. So in Visual Studio it's convenient. I could double click this. Used to work. Oh, look, it positions me right there. It even underlines the spot. It's not always that simple to find a mistake. And this is called a syntax error. Let me give you an example of something that's a runtime error. So we get a line C, and so we do AC, and we call it, we go to AC, right? See that? And then we're going to do, then we're going to go from B to C, okay? And we say, all right, we did it. Oh, look, zero. What's going on there? This should be AC. So that's a syntax error. Or not a syntax error. Yeah, it's a compilation error. Syntax is okay. See, this here we're declaring line AC. We're telling the compiler that line AC is a name for the object that we create with this syntax. And then we go down here and we say, hey, compiler, create another line and give it the same name. I said, wait a minute, I can't create two different things and give them the same name. I'm not built to do that. So it says, I refuse to compile. You know, I cannot compile. I don't know how to do that. That's why we failed to compile. Redefinition, okay? Multiple initialization. So you have to read that. That's the compiler talking to you. It's hard to understand the compiler. Redefinition, multiple initialization. Then you have to say, from there you have to figure out that, I see. Well, at least you can look at this line. Redefinition. What does that mean? Redefinition. That means we're redefining this name, line AC. So we can't do that. That's an error. So let's, we're going to call that BC. And we're going to look down here. One succeeded. So look for the success. Don't try to run the program if the build has failed. You know what will happen? The program will run, but it will be the executable that was generated from the last successful build. It won't reflect the changes that you made. So if you zip through this and not paying attention and say, yeah, I'm just going to run this anyway. Let me do it. Actually, let me go back and fail that. Let's see if we can explain that. So build failed, but we didn't notice that. We're in a hurry. I press F5. This project is out of date. Would you like to build it? Yes, say. Why not? There are errors. Would you like to continue and run the last successful build? Yeah, let's go. Hey, we got to run here. See that? But we're running the executable that's generated from the previous version. So pay attention on that. And this is going to be BC. All right, let's go ahead. Let's see. This time we're going to pay attention. We got a successful build. All right, now let's test. Here, and here. Where's my lines? It's not a compilation error. It's a logic error. We didn't write the code right. It'll compile. A compiler can't tell us when there's a logic error. A logic error means we didn't solve the problem right, which the compiler doesn't know what the problem is. So now we got a logic error. What's the logic error? What's the problem? We need all three lines, right? But we only saw one line. What did we do wrong?
Printed line 80 3 times.
Yeah, we printed the same line 3 times. Oh. We're rushing through the assignment. And we ended up printing the same line 3 times. Oops. Look at this. You see the problem with that? That needs to be an uppercase C. One, two, three. We got it. Okay. We did it. We solved the problem. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go down to Subversion. I'm going to click Add. I see all the files that are going in there. Hit OK. And then I check the web just to make sure it got in there. I'm going to take bets here. Who thinks it got into the repository? Who thinks it did not make it to the repository? Why didn't it make it into the repository? I didn't commit. When I clicked Add, I told the Subversion client, I said, schedule this code for writing into the repository. Schedule this to be added to the repository. Don't do it yet. Just schedule it. Mark it to be written. So the only time data is written into the repository is when you run a commit. The only time you get data from the repository is when you do an update. Of course, you may not be doing update, but you can. You can have multiple instances of your code checked out in different folders on one computer or on different computers. Let's see, this is, I think I'm in here. So it's not there. In fact, P12 is not there. Is this the right? No, I don't have it. So this is the right one. Let's go ahead and I'm going to go up to the solution. I think P12 is not in there either. Let's go up to the solution. I'm going to commit. There it is. It's not in here, although maybe it is. But here's the command. Commit the solution changes. And there it is. It's P225. Hit OK. Oh my God. Commit failed. I have to debug that. I think the problem is, let me do this. I gotta look at that. I think what I did was I keep deleting my repository and recreating it again, and as a result, the security certificate that I have cached in Visual Studio is different than the new security certificate that was generated for the new system. As you can see, this is from Linux. Maybe I have it. No, maybe it's in the wrong. Wait a minute, because I'm using multiple accounts here. Let me see. Let me go down to properties. And do I see Subversion anywhere in there? No. Hold on there. Let's go into solution properties. That's not it. Let's look at select repository. I don't see the maybe I have let me try this. They call it Win? David Turner. Maybe it's under Turner. No, anyway, okay, so I'll work on that later. Any questions? Any other problems you want to look at? Or issues? John, anything you want to add? Oh, Monday. Yeah, I'm not going to be here on Monday. So John is going to take over. So he's going to run the show on Monday. And so we want to know from you, what is it that you want to talk about or discuss on Monday, or be presented on Monday in lecture? We already have the lab scheduled, what we're going to do in lab. What would you like John to cover in Monday's lecture? Yeah. I have Tortoise SVN installed, and I could run that as well. As you can see, it comes up, it's integrated with Windows Explorer. And if I go to Properties here, which is what I was trying to do inside Visual Studio, there's a tab for Subversion, and this is the URL where the information is stored. And look at that. That's not, this is, that's the problem. Let's see if that's still there. See, this isn't even there. So I'm trying to commit into a repository that I deleted some time ago. That's why I'm having trouble. But that's because I'm teaching the class and I'm creating lots of repositories, deleting, preparing for lecture. But for you, I only have one repository, so you're not going to have this trouble. But this is handy inside Visual Studios. Inside Windows to install this Tortoise SVN. That's very handy. So I recommend that if you want more flexibility. So to clean up your repository, you might be easier if you use Tortoise SVN. And John is very familiar with Tortoise SVN, so he can help you with that. This Ankh SVN, this is new. This is the new guy on the market here. Tortoise SVN is very established. It's been around for years. I've used it for years. Ankh SVN is a little newer, and also we're using the free version that just came out recently. And we're not that familiar with it. Any other questions or suggestions for Monday? Yeah, Jay?
Suggestion question. When we get our coding graded, how do we get feedback?
How do you get feedback on your code? Okay, we're going to give you feedback by email, and we might even embed comments in your source code and commit them into the repository so you do an update and you can see the comment. So if you talk with us, like using that Wimba Pronto system, you can catch John, catch me, and you're chatting with us and say, I'm stuck or whatever, I want some help. And, we're going to ask you, commit your work. Because then we do an update. We can see what you're working on. And then we can talk about it together and hopefully guide you to a solution. And then if we need to, we'll embed a comment right in your source code. Now, when you're getting graded, we'll either send you an email with feedback in it, or else we'll embed comments into your source code, commit that, and then tell you by email that that's it. Yeah?
Actually, I gave some feedback on the Blackboard. When you check your grade, you can see it.
Right inside the report, right?
Yeah.
Right inside the report.
The lab report and assignment report. But there are so many common mistakes. Not mistakes, it's just the formatting, like indentation you have. So I want to talk in class to next Monday to show you how to commit your work and get the full credit for it, because
Coordinate. So these are the requirements. This is the criteria that we use to grade the assignments. So you'll notice in there this readability. This is the criterion that Sean is talking about right now. So he's going on Monday. He'll talk about what we expect from you regarding readability. It's described here, so you should read that and digest that fully. And Sean is going to cover that as well. Okay? Anything else? 3, 2, 1, done.